Hey, well, welcome back. I'm going to do exactly what I hate, what everyone else does, is the no tripod, one hand filming thing, which is I find annoying, but hey, look what I'm doing here. So very, very annoying. So what we've got here is the fuel air tube, which has been sitting in a vinegar and salt solution overnight. It's discolored from previous uses, but so this is what the fuel air tube looks like now. It's probably pretty cleaned off. We're going to kind of set that down over here, and then we're going to go on a little trek over to the sink. Kind of wash it off a bit. There we go. At least get the vinegar off of it. Of course, dump the towel into the sink too. That's always great. Go outside for a little bit of light. Why not? It's a bright sunny day out here. So this is what we're looking at here. This is the hole that usually gets plugged up, and so that's what we're trying to clean off. So the vinegar and salt's done a really pretty good job cleaning everything else off of it. So we'll have to go and put this in, see what happens. Usually what I like to do is blow through this. So let me set you guys down over here so I get both hands back. There we go. So just gonna dry this off a little bit. Really looks pretty good. Vinegar and salt works excellent. It's a whole lot cheaper than using the Evaporust. And all you have to do is make sure that you've got a saturated salt solution in there so that you can actually see the salt sitting on the bottom. I just use water softener salt. Cheap, easy to use, all that good stuff. Kind of wipe this off, blow through it some. That seems to be blowing through. You know, it's amazing. Even after sitting in vinegar and salt overnight, I can still detect a little bit of Coleman fuel in it. Okay. See, yeah, it definitely still has that Coleman fuel smell to it. I'm not getting a lot of air moving through it, almost none. So, and it actually still is salty. So I think what I'm going to do is that we're going to try a little bit more forceful method where we're going to throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner for, I don't know, maybe it needs to sit in there for about 10 minutes or so. And back that down to 10. We'll see what happens. All right, so almost done with the 10 minutes here. Somebody may be wondering, or you might be wondering exactly what I'm using in here for a cleaner, and I use Simple Green and water. Seems to work really, really well. Doesn't hurt paint or anything else like that. Does a good job on grease, and it's cheap, so I just mix it up and away we go. I usually try to get this up a little bit warmer, but it's cold in the shop, hence the flannel in the day, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. Hopefully it'll be enough to kind of dislodge it. If not, then I think what'll probably happen after this is that there we go, throw it back into the vinegar and see if it doesn't clean out, and go from there. So you can see that with this Simple Green and the ultrasonic, it gets even a bit more clean. It's kind of turned that coppery color. So, and it really looks like someone may have actually tried to solder inside there, and that may have occluded the tube. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a bit of, looks like to be solder on the bottom of that. And if someone has tried to do that, then this may be just ruined. So we'll see what kind of, if we get any more airflow out of it. Not much. Not much of any difference at all after sitting there for 10 minutes. It's so very little coming out of there. It's no surprise why the fuel air circuit isn't working that well. So yeah, interesting. So we'll have to figure out what to do. May have to go see if we can find a replacement on old Coleman parts, or we can throw it back in the vinegar and see if that doesn't help clear out more of it. But yeah, we may be in a spot where we are kind of in need of a new part, or we're just very gentle when we start it up. In other words, put it to light, wait till it spits, shut it off, light it, let all that kind of burn off, and then let that preheat, and then go from there. Otherwise, you'll just get a flamethrower every single time. So anyway, yeah, we'll see how that goes, and we'll keep you posted. Well, I decided to spare you most of the reassembly process since it was all basically doing the same thing anyway. Did want to show you this part, though, about the idea of putting the generator on first, how easy this makes everything to put back together. You just have to not hit the mantle, and it's not that hard to do that. And then there you are. So that makes that really pretty simple. What I did do when you guys weren't looking is that I hit it with a torch and try to see if I could get any of that potential stuff that looked like solder in there to move. Maybe get it a little bit more out of the way. I don't know. We'll see. This doesn't seem to be seated quite right. Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. But at any rate, that's what I did. Yeah, that seems to be a little off kilter here. Oh, that is kind of strange why it's doing that, but I think now it's where it needs to be. Oh, this is still off. What am I doing? Oh, I think I've clocked it wrong. I think that's the problem. I think I've got the I think I got the valve on the wrong side. Or do I? Yeah, I do. Nope, that is absolutely right, because there's no other way the valve can be. So much for that. I'm not sure why it's not sitting on their level. It's kind of odd. Get the generator sit in there properly, but it just doesn't want to sit level. And it absolutely was sitting level prior. You know what? This generator is slightly bent, and I think that may be causing a problem. So let's try moving that. Yeah, you can see the generator's bent. So we're going to give this a spin with the right tool. In case you're wondering, this uses a 12 millimeter metric on the generator here. Okay, that's putting the side that's bent towards the middle. Hopefully that will line it up a little better. Yeah, it's always got some little thing that you can kind of adjust for here when you're working with these. Because see, it's perfect. It fits on there like it's supposed to. This is still weird. Oh, I see. This is not. Get this seated over here. There we go. So, combination of the two, getting the collar seated right, and getting the generator turned. I guess I could try to straighten that a little bit, but yeah, it's all right. So you'll notice that I'm using a 1/2 inch here. For whatever reason, this is a American thread on a stud, but other stuff is metric. So there we go. Now we're just ready for a little bit of fuel. So I've got disappear off camera. I've got a funnel I use for this kind of stuff. I just kind of tend to move fuel from one lantern to the next. I just kind of dust it out and go on to the next. Got a 236 over here that's got some fuel in it, so we'll dump the fuel out of this. And then load that up into here. That should be plenty. And if you don't have any kind of like beakers or something like that, man, I have found they are super handy for using around the shop here. So yeah, I've got a Coleman funnel too, but it's actually up on the front porch or back porch right now. So I just use a bit of paper towel in a funnel, and then that at least filters anything out that comes out from the other tank. So, well, I'm hoping this works, because it would be nice not to have a lot of fireballs. But if we do get one, I guess it'll make for good video, right? Alright. Put that on the back bench. Try not to kill myself on this chair. It sits out here in the shop, so it's not exactly the smoothest rolling chair. Being out here in the elements, sort of, kind of. Anyway, we'll give her 30 pumps, see what happens. Well, lots of bird activity out here today. All right. I use this to start it just because it's easier. This is a little bit unknown right now, so we're going to just kind of let it go. It's going to take a while because it has, let's see, this is where we see, yep, it looks like it's working a little better. Still fire, but we'll see if it, see, this is good. And now we can put it all the way to light, or to run. That's perfect. Because before, what was happening, it would do that, and then it would start spraying raw gas all over everything, and then the whole thing would go up in fire. Fire would be coming out of here. This is why this knob, block this a little bit, but that knob is discolored because it had caught on fire previous times. The whole base of the top of the font was discolored because it had obviously caught on fire previous times. You can see that the burner frame itself is discolored with carbon because it had caught on fire a bunch of times. So this is now behaving like it should. We can give it a few more pumps to get it up to full brightness. And there she goes. So I think that's a successful repair. So a little bit of heat. I did soak it also in some carb cleaner, which I keep in a test tube here, so I don't have to waste it. But there we go. She's running. She's running good. So anyway, there you go. 321 fuel air tube sorted out, and now she's working. Until next time, keep them lit.